that moment when I saw the flag hoisted up and the national anthem playing, for a moment I froze because, it was like such a big thing for me. Actually, ever since I was young, I've been trying a lot of different sports. And that's obviously because of my parents. They were always like sports enthusiasts. So they always wanted me to, get into some or the other sport. But that was not as a, like, how do you say it? Like, obviously, studies was the first preference. And in the free time, I was generally doing different kind of sports. So apparently in 2019, I came across shooting, and that is where I started doing it. And apparently, with time, I like this sport. So, like till last year, I was still more focused on studies. Like till the starting of last year. But then apparently nationals came. I performed well in nationals, and from that time onwards, I started liking this sport more and more, and I wanted to pursue this, like as a career. So, and I think my parents have always been very supportive. They're the ones who, brought me from a place where girls are, not supposed to be doing all this, or like their mindset is like that. So my parents brought me out of that place, and like I think today where I am right now is all because of them. I wasn't very nervous about, because I have played internationals even last year, even this year before this one. So like being an international match, I wasn't nervous, or maybe because of my age also. Like that factor, the age factor, I did not actually keep it in mind a lot. So that was not an issue. But yes, the one of the issues, or one of the factors that made me nervous was that maybe I was one of the least experienced there, because I've been doing shooting only for 4 years, and the rest of the players, or the rest of the good players that would probably make into the finals, they all were like more experienced. So yeah, that was one fact. But then apparently, I think I believed in myself, and due to which I got through it. I think shooting had a wonderful performance this time. Like we as a team, like everybody performed like really well. And I think before before a match has started, even in the camp, or like even in the village before our matches, I think this time we had kind of a positive and a confident vibe, and I think it was a really good time. We had a good time before our matches, I think, which impacted on our performances. It had a positive impact, of course. And so I think somewhere, I think I expected us to do well. I knew we would do well this time. As for me, like personally, before my match, like 2 days before my match, 3 days before my match, I generally I don't like to roam around outside a lot, and I keep myself in a zone where I could actually be like, match prepared, like pre-match preparation. So I think that plays an important role for me personally. And also, as for concentration, we have been doing a lot of, psychological things as well, psychological activities, which help us to maintain our concentration. Actually, when I started this sport, I thought physical activity wasn't required. But then with time, as you keep on getting better at your sport, so with time I realized that physical activity is as important as any other activity, like mental training or technical training. Physical training is important. Because why? One thing is because we do not want injury. Although our sport is like a sport with not a lot of movement, but we still have shoulder injuries or different kind of injuries in our upper region of our body. So to prevent that, we need physiotherapy sessions and physical training from time to time. So I think that is required. Actually, during our camps, our national coaches decide our schedule. So according to that, we train. As for when we're not in camps and not in international matches, like in off season or something, during that time, as for me, I train from in two shifts. From 8 to 12 is the first one, and then from 2 to 5 is the second one. And then physical training goes in the evening. And as for diet, I think it plays a very important role in an athlete's life. So as for diet, I think it's all thanks to my mom. She's maintaining all the things as to what I have to eat in a day along with my nutritionist. So yeah. Cheat days, yes, once in a while. I think generally I have cheat days when I come back from my competition. So let's suppose I just came back from an international. So I would have a cheat day today and then maybe after the next international. Apparently, first thing I would do is I would wake up at 10 o'clock. Since my brother and sister go to school a little early, so although they make a lot of noise and maybe due to that sometimes I wake up even on my holiday. So but then I go back to bed and I'm always no, I'll wake up at 10 o'clock no matter what happens. So that is the first thing. And then I think I probably rest the entire day. I'm lying on my bed or on the sofa somewhere, where nobody is disturbing me. I'm just sleeping or maybe waking up and reading a book or something. I do what my hobbies on that day. I just do what I enjoy doing. And as for evening, maybe a little bit of snacks or something I could have. Actually, it was my first international. It was the Junior World Cup last year in May. So that match was one of the, I think I'll remember that forever. Because not only did I play well, but during that match, I was so happy. Maybe because that was my first international or maybe my first international trip or all these circumstances or my competition results or my medals and whatever. But that moment, those few days were one of the best days in my life and I'm never going to forget those. And obviously the partial role was of the medals as well. I played 3 events then and I had 2 golds and a silver. So yeah, that moment was the best one. First of all, this was a very big event. Or out of all the internationals I've played till date, this was one of the biggest events, and I believe it's one of the most major events one as an athlete could play. So me having the gold in that event, obviously I was very happy, very proud, not only of myself but of all my supporters, my family or Reliance Foundation and everybody else. So that moment when I saw the flag hoisted up and the national anthem playing, for a moment I froze because it was such a big thing for me. So it took days for me to digest it, but yeah, I'm used to it now. Next is since today, on 9th we started with our camp. So from 19th onwards we have the Asian Shooting Championship where we have Olympic quotas. So we've been working for that and I hope to have a good performance there. And obviously the major goal is next year's Olympics. So we've been preparing for it and I hope to be able to perform well there as well.